but I'm praying that and thanking my lucky stars that I haven't tumbled. I haven't took a tumble off the sofa yet because I'm clumsy. I think I said this before. I can trip over my own 2 feet. When I was a child, I got took to hospital for being clumsy. I mean, I'm not sure what the diagnosis for clumsiness is. I don't even know how you assess clumsy. But if I could fall over, I'd fall over. If I could trip up, I would trip up. But I would fall over thin air. And my parents, love them, got to the point where like, you have got to stand up. You cannot keep taking a tumble. And I would take, and they weren't just like a little stumble. They were like glorious cinematic, like stunt roll type falls. And I would brush myself up and dust myself down. Obviously, we do the thing where we look around to make sure, you know, I'm embarrassed and I've hurt myself. And a couple of times, like, true story, I think my clumsiness sometimes comes from not paying attention. I think I've said before, I sometimes go through life with not a care in the world. And one evening, I didn't have a care in the world at the station, and my mind was off somewhere else. My mind certainly wasn't linked to my feet because I don't know what happened. But I talk about cinematic stunt guy, epic falls. This was, I mean, I don't even know how the logistics of it worked. I fell up the stairs. I mean, I'm lucky I didn't fall down the stairs because there was quite a lot of stairs, but I fell up the stairs. I fell up the stairs, but I didn't just fall up the stairs. I launched, like I propelled myself up the stairs. I was like a salmon. Imagine a salmon leaping out of the water for its life. I managed to throw myself up. Like I watched the Olympics and you see things like the long jump and the high jump, and you're like, how have you, as, I mean, I was going to say an ordinary adult, but you're an elite athlete, managed to jump like 20 meters? How have you managed to, from standing, launch yourself over an 8 foot, 9 foot pole? Now I get it. Because I, like, this was, like, if there was a gold medal for tripping upstairs that day, I would have been on that podium with my medal, listening to my national anthem. And I took such a tumble. And the worst bit is you never take a tumble when you're, I mean, in one way, you never want to take a tumble on your own because, you know, if you have hurt yourself, hope you you never do, you need some assistance. But let me tell you, this was rush hour in London. And if you know rush hour in London, if you know rush hour in London, you know exactly what I'm about to say. And if you don't know, or you haven't experienced, God, you haven't experienced rush hour in London, it's chaotic and it's hectic. And I think if I'd have thrown myself down in front of Wembley Stadium, like a fully packed Wembley, there would have been less people watching me fly through the air. What made it worse was I had a huge amount of stuff with me. I had I don't know, like I'm not a contortionist, but my rucksack managed to detach itself from my arm, like like I had my arms in the strap. This will tell you the level of magnitude that this tumble took. My rucksack managed to detach itself from me. And all the bags I was carrying managed to also, in slow motion, when I look back on it, they launched themselves. In fact, I think I was in slow motion. I think I was in the air for 7 minutes. And obviously, that might just be my my recollection of it. And I hit the deck. And I didn't know what happened. There were lots of people. And also, this is the great thing about London. There's people that are like, mate, I want to get home. They were stepping over me. They were literally stepping over me because, and I get it. We're in autopilot mode to get home, and who that is this person? And I laid out on the floor. But luckily, there were still people that wanted to help. And I thank you. I don't know who you are, but I thank you. There's one lady that was insistent on giving me a bottle of water. In fact, she was taking the lid off and pouring water over me, which probably didn't help the situation. But at that moment, and let me know if you guys are the same, but at that moment, I just wanted, I wish I'd have fallen down the stairs, because then I would have been laid on my own at the bottom of the stairs with nobody witnessing my shame of falling over. And I say shame, there's nothing shameful about falling over unless it's a comedy fall. And this was an absolute comic book comedy fall. I have to keep moving because this is what I fall over, because this seat's so uncomfortable. I'm going to sit on my hand. And there were people trying to pick me up, and my level of embarrassment, and I'm not embarrassed, clearly I've got a YouTube channel, I'm not embarrassed about many things, but my level of embarrassment, I was mortified. I was mortified. And as lovely as these people were trying to help me up back onto my feet and dust me down, I was like, I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. I mean, I think I dislocated my shoulder. I think, in fact, I did fracture my shoulder. And again, I've made that sound really overly dramatic. It was a very thin fracture that healed itself. I didn't know was there. But this is the point. When you've fallen over in front of people, you could have a dislocated shoulder. And I don't know whether it's because we're British and it is that stiffer upper lip, but we could have a dislocated shoulder and we're like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. No, 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 no trouble. No trouble at all. In fact, sorry. I'm really sorry. Sorry, everybody. Sorry. And I look back at that and go, that's crazy. And I can look back at other times, and I was on holiday once, and I love a pair of flip-flops. Like in the summer, love a pair of flip-flops. As a clumsy person, flip-flops probably not the best kind of footwear. As a faller and a tumbler, like I'm now referring to myself as an acrobat, like Cirque du Soleil. Like I think I'm Cirque du Soleil. Like it's like, yeah. So I feel like I'm this acrobatic tumbler, gymnastic Cirque du Soleil. And that's why you should never wear flip-flops, because it's just the thing between your feet. Great flip-flop impression there. And I was going to the beach this day, and the beach consisted of many steps, and they weren't like proper steps. These were like beach steps. These were like made out of driftwood, and the beach was packed. And I've got my headphones, I've got my book, I've got my all the essentials, bottle of water, sun cream, just living my best life. And I don't know what happened, but I fell down these stairs and landed on the beach. During the fall, all my stuff managed to lay itself out on the beach like it was intentional. My towel unraveled, my book, my water. But the noise I made when I fell alerted everybody on that beach that something had happened. But nobody saw it. So then I sat on that beach for a good 20 minutes, not knowing if I'd broken my ankle, if I'd dislocated my wrist. And I laid on that beach under the gaze of many, many other holidaymakers who were all going, he's hurt himself. I think he just fell down those stairs. He took a tumble. And rather than just, I took a tumble, can I just check I'm okay? I just sat there like it was intentionally meant to be there. I picked my book up, I put my headphones on, I put myself, like, with my dislocated ankle, that's actually your wrist, with my potentially dislocated wrist, I was lathering myself up with sun cream. And my internal voice, because I think we've all got these internal voices, was just, please look away. Please look away. And eventually, people looked away, so I was able to check myself out. And luckily, I was fine. But again, I look back on that and go, clumsy. You clumsy. Molly, you in danger, girl.